Hello guys, my name is Agustia and welcome to ChessRise. This is my first ever video in my channel. As well as I'm going to suggest you some apps in the upcoming videos on where you can play chess like live face to face with another rated player. If you don't know what rating means, like if you have a high rating, that means you're a good player. My rating is 1301 at ChessKit, which is an app that I'm going to suggest for beginners. And then as you get more advanced, you can go at like chess.com, like I am at, where my rating is like 793, and those players are actually quite better. So you can go on them. So second of all, my rating is my age is 8.5. So I started playing chess when I was 5, so I've been playing chess for 3 years, but at ChessKit and chess.com combined just for 1 year, because before that I used to play with my father. My chess career started like 3 years ago, so I'm playing chess 3 years ago. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the channel and I hope you enjoy the video as well. So first of all, we will start with the queen. This is the most trickiest piece in chess. So what can happen over here is the queen can move diagonally at the same colored square it is at, and it can move in columns and rows. So the queen can move to, wait, please be patient a bit. All of the red squares that I highlighted. And you will get it. So the queen will move in all of the squares, like diagonally, straight, any direction, diagonally, at the color it is as. So right now it's at the dark squares, so it can move on the dark square diagonal. So as we move on, like let's take the queen and the bishop is there. Okay, so here is a piece named the bishop and it moves diagonally. Suppose we take this bishop. So it's at the dark square. So it's just like the queen. It cannot move with the squares, but it cannot move with the dark squares. It's a dark square bishop. It's not dark, but it's a dark square bishop because it's on a dark square. It can move along the diagonals it is at, and it cannot get off the diagonal, and it cannot get out of the color. So we take, for example, the light square bishop. It does the same, but it's supposed to stay on the light squares always. Rooks. These are called the rooks. You can call them the towers, but don't when you're in a live tournament, okay? Don't. So first, they can move straight any direction. Not any direction, like rows and columns. Straight and in these, okay? Okay, let's go. And then the next piece is gonna be the knight. The knight are very tricky. They can move in an L shape any direction. For example, we take these two knights. And they're controlling all of the squares that they need to control. Here are how both of the knights can go, and just one knight will just move in an L shape any directions. Most of the time you will have two knights in a chess game at the beginning of the chess game. And then let's put a pawn over here. So the pawn is a special piece. So first of all, the pawn, if it's at the starting base, it can move 2 squares. But suppose it's not at the starting square, like it's always shadowing the kings, it's always shadowing the pieces. The pawn is not considered a piece, it's considered a pawn. So suppose this pawn is over there, and the pawn can only move to these 2 squares. It can't go diagonal. So for example, we take a black pawn. There are 2 sides, okay? There are 2 sides, so that's black and white. So there you go. So what happens if this pawn, right? For example, if this pawn moved 2 squares and a white pawn is right next to it, then you can gain 1 point of material by taking that pawn off the board. That's a special rule called ampersand. Okay, so suppose let's take it over here. This time it's diagonally over here. This is a special move. Like if the pawn is capturing another piece, it can move diagonally, like just 1 square diagonally, forward, not backward. A pawn cannot go backwards. For example, so if the pawn reaches the other side of the board, then it can be moved to a bishop, a knight, a rook, a queen, or a king. Wait, not a king. Sorry about that. So let's, now that you know how the pieces move, let's look at how they start on their home base. What is their natural squares? So first, the pawns go, if it's a white pawn, it goes at the second rank, okay? So these straight lines are called columns, and these are called ranks. So as I said already, if a pawn is starting at its home base, they can move 2 squares. Okay, so now let's look at where the rooks go. So the rooks always belong in the corners, okay, opposite of each other. The knights go beside the rooks, the bishops go beside the knights, and then the king and the queen. The queen always belongs at D1. If you don't know what that means, like, do you know all of these squares over here? That's over here, like H, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. We say them, and then we say the numbers to tell where the piece is. So, for example, if I put a rook over there, I will say F5. I say the line first, and then the rank. The line is 5, and the line is F, and the rank is 5. So, taking that rook off the board, we can add the king. The king always belongs at E. Wait, I didn't tell you how the king moves. The king always moves on 1 square any direction. Absolutely any direction, 1 square. Until and unless it's castling. We will make exceptions to that rule later on, not right now. So the king belongs on the E, and then let's look at the black pieces now. We can put one special rule is the pieces like always oppose each other. Like all of these pawns are opposing each other, and so will the pieces. So here is a white rook. Let's put this over here for a second. Here is a black rook. Here's a white rook. Here's a black rook. They're staring at each other, and so will the rest of the pieces. Like they always stare at each other. So, after that, like now we know how all the pieces move. We know where they go. So now I can tell you how all the pieces, how some of the basics. Okay. So first of all, for example, you're starting a game of chess. You don't know what to play. You don't know the moves that you want to play. What you do? So first of all, my recommendation, what I usually play is e4. So I usually play e4. And black has 3 main responses. If you're black, you can play e5. You can play e5, c5, or e6. So e6 is called the French defense. We will go through them later on in our openings video. So that is called the French. This is called the Sicilian, and this is called the King's Pawn. You play them, okay? The most common one that you will see is e5. Then you're gonna see c5. If you're more advanced, you will see c5, and then you will say e6. I usually see e6 and c6 a lot. Okay, so those were the top 3 openings, and I hope you liked the video as well. So let's first summarize before I leave what we did today. So first of all, what we did was looked at how pieces moved, and then in the middle we did the same. At the end we looked at some typical openings that we did. So in the next video of mine, we are going to discuss. We're going to go deep into those openings that I told in the end, and tell the variations from them as well. So I hope you liked the video. Like and subscribe to my channel, and yeah, that's it. Bye bye.